guess when Gab, I saw the TV glow. You dropped some
I
news.
was planning on doing a joke about that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll prepare myself to laugh for the joke, but I wanted for our sakes for us to know ahead of time.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Awesome.
It's a good thing to know. Something else that is good to know is for our listeners to know the reason for the break that we took. And the explanation for that is, of course, that Noah told me I pronounced the word genre in a weird way, and I just needed time.
It's very true.
That makes sense.
We're sorry for everyone in this very difficult time, and we hope everyone gets over it because they need to get past it, because I'm right. Soft
Wait, okay,
G
hold on.
instead of hard J.
I need to hear the differences. Can you both say the word?
I say genre with a
Okay.
J.
Yeah.
And I say genre with a J.
With a J.
You know, I say it with the soft G as well.
Shut up, Wendy. No, come back. Nina stormed out of the room in a huff. Someone can't take a joke.
I say genre, but I've heard it pronounced genre before.
No, Emma,
think
you're
that's
already
fine.
correct. You don't need to change it.
I'm not gonna change how I pronounce it. I'm just saying.
Well, no.
That's correct.
Obviously, it's just a difference in your upbringing.
Well, we've had
I
this
mean, clearly,
conversation.
Yeah.
You grew up in different
Probably
parts of the country.
regional differences.
We've had
No,
this
it's more of an
conversation
Albany
about
accent.
how Noah's the only person in that family that says coupon.
That's
So-
true. That's true.
Yeah, I
and
don't know
also
where that came from.
Bagel instead of bagel.
I do not say bagel.
You do.
You just
say-
said
okay,
it. You just
I do
said
say
it.
okay. I
Said
say
bagel.
I
You
say
all heard
bagel
it.
as a
We
joke.
got him on record.
I could say bagel differently if I wanted to. I just say bagel
he
as a
did it
bit.
again. He did it again twice.
just keep
We're not
doing
gonna
it.
have this
He can't
discussion.
stop.
Bagel. See, I can do it.
You hear how unnatural that sounded?
No, I swear. I also can say bagely.
Jeez. Okay.
Anyway, we're back on Casual Obsession, but we're here also gabbing some ghouls. I have
Noah, what is
probably
gabbing
like
the ghouls?
40 movies.
I've never
You
heard
have
of
to
this.
say what
about
gabbing the
movies.
ghouls is.
I said it last time.
We're
People
gabbing
can get
ghouls.
over
That
it.
What's
means we're
this
talking about
casual obsession
movies.
thing that we're talking about?
Jesus Christ.
It's a horror movie podcast where we talk about horror movies, but that's not
Oh.
important right now.
All right, let's gab some ghouls, and by that I mean talk about movies we watch between recording sessions.
Yep,
Yay.
and
Gabbing
Yeah.
it, and by it,
It's
I
been a
mean
full-
my ghouls.
It has been a full over a month between recording.
Yeah, it's been like a month
So
and a half.
there's a
hasn't it?
shit ton of movies because I remember gabbing Mandy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
you did
know I
gab
gabbed Mandy
That did
because I had to break his heart.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And
Break whose heart?
because I
Wah,
had to
wah,
break
wah.
his heart. But I've seen a whole lot of movies since then. Firstly, because this is a group gab.
Yeah.
Furiosa.
That's
Saw
right.
Furiosa 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, does the
And
third time count? Because I hear you slept through a lot of that.
I did not Nick needs to shut the fuck up. Nick is telling everyone I slept through the
That is what
entire
I heard.
movie. I slept through maybe 7 minutes of the full movie.
Okay.
That's not that
God
bad. That is
forbid-
definitely less than I heard.
Yes, no, Nick, everyone's like, Noah, why did you waste your money going to a theater if you're just going to sleep through it? I didn't sleep through the whole movie. I was in and out a little bit in the middle, you know. Anyway, Furiosa's really good. I really liked Furiosa.
It's a really
too.
good movie. I love it.
Yeah. I only saw it once in theaters because I suck. But
It's okay, Emma. You can admit you're just not as much of a...
I'm not as cultured as you are.
I was trying to find a way to say ally, but also combine it with like Furiosa head, Mad Maxoid, but
There's-
none of that sounded
oh,
good.
goodness.
No,
So,
those
like-
are bad. Those are bad.
Exactly.
Furious
You're not as
ally.
cultured. It's okay.
I saw it. That was pretty. That's
You-
better than Noah.
A real mortifier.
A real mortifier.
Oh, the mortifiers.
It's okay, Emma. You're not a real mortifier.
We watched. I think I saw it twice.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
also
it-
only saw it once, but
Wow, I guess
was
you're
good.
just not as
Someone
real
doesn't
as
love
a
the
mortifier.
Autobots.
I'm
Yeah,
a
I
fake
think-
mortifier.
I think that the Octoboss really caught on for me the second time, because after I watched it the first time, I was really Dementis pilled, obviously.
Yeah,
He's
of
kind
course.
of
Oh, yeah.
very much my type.
Nina, hit us with the Dementis trivia of the Dementis
Yes.
voice,
So-
because this
Oh,
is
yeah.
really great.
Chris Hemsworth says that he came up with Dementis' voice by combining his grandfather, circus, like carnival announcer voice, and Seagulls, the bird.
Interesting.
It
Mhm.
shows, right?
What a good fun fact.
I love
Yes.
when an actor puts effort into the voice of the character.
Yeah.
When they think about it, because
Yeah.
he has like 3 distinct things: Grandpa, Carnival Barker, annoying ass bird. And he's like, what if these could be one person? And
That's
that
how you
one
get-
person is
And then you get
the great
Dementis.
Dementis.
Dark Dementis.
I love Dementis so much.
Dementis the Red.
He's a totally different type of evil than the other characters. But yeah, I was so Dementis pilled, and obviously Furiosa pilled, that I totally neglected to pay attention to the Octobos apart from during the best fight in any movie ever.
Oh my god.
And I was like, the second time watching it, again, I was sat for that full fight scene with the Mortifliers, and the fucking, like, everything about it was so cool. The pole jumping and the, like, kite flying nonsense, windsurfing. I'm like,
The
this
hang
is the
glider
greatest.
guy.
The hang glider guy, Octobos himself.
Just
like,
looming in the distance.
Okay,
ugh.
so
Ah.
here's the cool thing about Octoboss. All right, now
Is
George
that
Miller
I only take orders
is-
from him.
Of course. George Miller is
Mhm.
firstly, cannot recommend checking out the other Mad Max movies, Mad Max 2 or 1, 2, and Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderdome is the weakest of the 5 Mad Max movies that exist, right?
Whoa.
Counting Furiosa. And it's just because it's kind of camp and annoying in some parts. Other parts are strong as hell, and if Thunderdome is your weak part of the franchise, get over it. It's
Mhm.
really good. I watched all 5 this year because I was just like interested. Like, why not, right?
Yeah.
The man actually got his stunt crew to make a Harley Davidson fly for the Octobos. They had one that could actually paraglide, and the only reason it was not used in the movie was because George Miller has experience in the past with like stunt accidents involving flight and did not want to have that risk associated with his movie.
Yeah.
So they had it working, and he decided this is not safe enough. Now, I cannot stress enough the fact you will watch Mad Max 2 and wonder how no one has ever died filming a Mad Max movie.
Didn't
Like Mad
somebody-
Max 1, no, not in Mad Max.
Was in Fury Road, didn't somebody get like severely paralyzed or die?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm gonna look it up. I think they did.
Okay. But in other productions, he has had some issues with like stunt performers getting severely hurt. Not under like his direct thing, but in things he was involved in. The Twilight Zone movie, you can look it up on your own time.
Yeah.
But the car crashes in these things are a fucking trip. Really, really, really good time. But then in Furiosa, the Octoboss moment where you just have this Harley Davidson flying in on a fucking giant octopus balloon. Really good. Really love it. It's just a really, really good time. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
It's big.
fantastic.
It's loud. It's a really fun time. On that note, though, Mad Max 2 also very worth watching.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch the other ones. It's interesting that you say Thunderdome is the weak point, because that's actually the one that I've heard recommended the most as like a high point of the series.
So here's the thing. Some people like Thunderdome because it's camp and it's fun. Other people dislike Thunderdome because it's too goofy.
Yeah.
The enlightened fellow, am cut right down the middle, where I'm like, it is fun, but it is also too goofy. There's
Okay.
Wars. Nobody died.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yay.
I would.
Glad to hear that.
So one of Charlize Theron's stunt double was injured in like another project after Fury Road.
Okay.
And I think that's what I was thinking of.
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, because it's obviously things can get like confused between things, but the general praise I hear for George Miller specifically is that
He knows when to stop.
well, he works very closely with his stunt people to organize. I want to say the Octoboss fight scene, I want to say took them 30 days to film because they were making sure to film everything as safely as possible so no one got hurt.
Nice.
And very, very impressed.
It's such a good fight scene. I'm not an action movie person, but the way, just between the way that fight scene just is so innovative on the like world rules, while also developing the relationship between Jack and Furiosa so well that like I don't think I would have given a shit about the relationship if it hadn't started during that fight the way that it did.
Mm-hmm.
God,
really fun.
I love that movie. Good movie. Fun
It's just
stuff.
Really good.
Yeah, great time.
What else have we watched? What else have you watched, Noah?
All right, let's see.
1,000
Watch
movies.
Mad God. I'm gonna just rapid fire a couple of things here.
Okay, sounds good.
Mad God.
Nice.
Watched it as like part of the Discord movie day. Really liked Mad God. I thought that was really, really fun. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to do a little soapbox for 2 seconds about concert movies, because there's some people who will rate concert movies on Letterboxd very low because these aren't movies. There's no cinematography. That's stupid as shit. Okay, get over yourself. Because firstly, 90% of the time they're wrong about that type of stuff. Like the Stop Making Sense video, someone rated it half star saying that there is no cinematography in the Stop Making Sense concert video.
L.
It is all about the production and the image. It is a very thought out thing. That being said, the only time in my mind I am ever going to rate a concert video as less than 5 stars is if it literally was just filmed poorly, you know?
No, go ahead, sorry.
Because I'm specifically thinking about the beginning of the Cure concert we put on, where it was like a stationary camera filming a weirdly lit stage where the Cure is performing. And the Cure does fine, but the filming of it was not ideal. Those ones I would give like a lower thing.
The audio mix on that one, honestly, isn't perfect either, but that's...
So,
right.
The ones that Noah has up here are Pink Floyd, Pulse, and Oingo Boingo Farewell Halloween concert. And this was during a large gathering that these were on, and I was talking to people after I looked up and I'm like, that's not Pink Floyd anymore. And furthermore, that looks like Danny Elfman. But I wasn't sure, and I turned to someone and I'm like, oh, is Pink Floyd done? And someone's like, no, I think this is the second CD. And I looked at them like they were crazy, because not only was that clearly Danny Elfman barefoot on stage, but secondly, the cinematography was completely different from the Pink Floyd show. They was filmed completely differently.
Firstly,
also, the
do
lighting
yourself
on
a
the
favor.
stage, and also
Watch the Pulse concert.
Holy shit, yes. It's an all-timer.
Get a little high and watch the Pulse concert. You will see an entire screen bathed in light with lasers and an atmosphere
and
being
some
made.
Absolutely
Then also
rad performances of already good material.
Exactly. Then you can also watch the Oingo Boingo Farewell show, the Halloween special. Very different energy, distinctly not the same thing. Fantastic.
Very fun. Really fun.
Very clearly not the same thing.
Since we're talking about concert movies, now is probably the time to talk about the other concert movie that we watched.
Yeah.
And now I took polls on Tumblr and Twitter, and it was inconclusive, so I'm just gonna say how I want to say this. We watched the Goovy, that is to say the ghost movie, right here, right now.
Some people say Govy, and that's dumb.
That's really
I'm
weird to
sorry. I'm gonna call you dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry, Discord Sean, if that's you, but you're wrong.
We went and saw the Goovy.
I don't even know.
It was really good.
It was fun.
Speaking of like cinematography, it was really well shot. There were some shots of the ghouls that were really, really cool. Audio mixing was great.
Yeah, it was a great time. The cutaways were fun.
Yep, that was a good time. 10 out of 10. Played all the songs I wanted to hear.
Yep.
Yeah, Goovy good. Lore minimal, but a big moment in the lore of Ghost. So we can all relish in that for now.
Right.
I
What else
thought
did we watch?
the Goofy movie had just like earned a new nickname when you first said Goofy.
The Goovy.
All the
No.
cool kids are calling the Goofy movie Goofy and Goofy 2.
Well, if that were the case, I would have to call the ghost movie Govy.
New concept for you, all right?
Oh dear. Oh, boy.
A very serious look at Goofy's life. It's just called Goof, and it's directed by Martin Scorsese.
That's real.
That's really good.
All right, so I did some homework during our time off as well, by the way. I watched Watcher, which is not The Watcher, which is a movie that Jeff and I watched starring Keanu Reeves and some other guy with a Rob Zombie soundtrack. No. This is the
Who was that
episode
other
that I
guy?
was absent. I don't know. I don't really care. Look that up. Jamie, look that up.
I am looking that up.
But I watched Watcher, an episode that I was absent on fucking ages ago, whenever the hell we did it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it a lot.
That is James
I saw-
Spader.
Was it James Spader that you're calling the other guy?
That is James fucking Spader.
Oh my god, I'm over here like some loser and baby Keanu Reeves who had not earned his chops yet.
This movie came
And
out
the
a year
loser.
after The Matrix.
And baby
Oh,
Keanu
God.
Reeves had already been in Bill and Ted and The Matrix, so
And Speed.
And Speed.
And Speed.
and the bus that would not slow down. Anyway, how was Watcher, Noah?
I liked Watcher a lot. I think it is very evocative of Rosemary's Baby in a fun way. I
in a
think it
certain way.
really nails a lot. Yeah, right. Not in any of the theming, but in the vibes, you know?
A different aspect of the
Very, very much enjoyed
Because
it.
it's still very much about
Yeah,
like the way
very
that
much.
shitty husbands treat their wives. It's still very much about urban isolation, all that kind of stuff. I see it.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot. This is one of those movies that like it's a slow burn. So like, you know, you got to be ready for that, but also it's a slow burn. And how long is it? It's not that long. It's only 96 minutes.
Yeah, it's not long.
And it doesn't drag, but it definitely feels longer than that. And I like that. I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of neat. But however, I gotta say, worst horror boyfriend in such a long time.
pretty
Not
shitty.
not to step on the toes of Dead Meat, because I know they did just do a fucking March Madness bracket of worst horror boyfriends. I don't know who won it. I did not finish the podcast episode. This guy sucks ass. I don't know what to do anymore, Julia. Brother, maybe try one thing. You didn't do anything.
Yeah,
and you're
right?
like, I'm
Like,
all
maybe
out
you
of
listen
literally
once.
he's like, I've done nothing and I'm out of ideas. Oh my god. So thumbs up, 4 out of 10, or 4 out of 10, god. 8 out of 10. Had a very good time with it.
Okay, go
Let's
ahead.
see. I have 6 more I want to do, but 5
Oh,
of them come in a
Christ.
batch. Okay.
Okay.
I've been
Okay.
watching a lot of Westerns recently. I'm really enjoying watching Westerns again.
Hell
I
yeah.
would like to, Jeff, you probably have not watched for a few dollars more, because I realized I had never seen it before.
I have not
I would
yet.
recommend checking it out. Very heavily recommend it. It is almost as good as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I think the only reason it's not is because The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly feels like an epic because it's such a large movie, and for a few dollars more is a larger scale than Fistful of Dollars, which I still think is a lot of fun,
Oh, sure.
but it is a smaller scale than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It is a really good bridge. However, that
Nice.
being said, I've also watched a lot of bad Westerns recently. The Old Way with Nicolas Cage, I regrettably did not like.
Yeah.
Hostile
not as good.
Territory, which is like a Lifetime movie that also is very racist and shitty and shows blood sometimes to remind you it's a gritty Western. Ass. Don't waste your time. The Last Outlaw, Mickey Rourke's HBO original fucking Western.
I've heard
Actually
things.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
I really thought it was quite enjoyable. It is, oh, what's his ass? Dermont Mulroney?
Whomst?
I haven't seen him in I don't think I've seen him he was in Scream 6 as Detective Bailey.
Oh, I know who
But
that
he's
is.
got that he's an adult in that. I have this distinct memory of seeing his stupid ass baby face that he's just a little Confederate soldier turned outlaw, and he's such a nice guy, and he looks like 10 years old, and it's so goofy, and I swear I've seen him in something, but I've never seen him in anything in a movie. He's probably been in a TV show. But The Last Outlaw, it's really fun. It's a classic kind of like a Faustian story about, you know, cowboy stuff, which I think is that's my favorite kind of Western. Personally,
The Faustian Cowboy.
usually because, well, yeah, you know why? Because if you're not looking into the relationship of man and the heart, or in the evil in the heart of men kind of thing. You're just pointing at the screen going, I hate Native Americans, and that's cool. And then eagles cry and the American flag waves and you say, I've conquered the West. It's not as much fun.
Well,
you
true.
know?
Well, but
Which is
there is a
what
third
Hostile
option,
Territory
though.
did.
There is a third option, and that's the Pale Rider version of a Western, which is where it's entirely just about how capitalism is terrible and all the little people must band together and kill capitalists.
That is the only other good Western. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. However, there is one last movie I'm going to talk about, and it is Lumberjack the Monster.
What?
This is what I actually want to chat about.
Excuse me?
So
Sorry,
this
what?
is a Takashi Miike movie. It is actually brand new. It came out last year.
Fresh Miike.
And-
Ooh.
Fresh Miike. Yeah.
Hot off
This
the presses?
it's on Netflix. Swear to God, this movie was plucked straight out of 2010 era movies. Like, a core plot point is that there is a brain chip that was developed that could control your emotions. And
The one in the COVID
course
vaccine. We've all heard of it.
of course,
Yeah.
yes. No, but like that this not only does it exist in world, but it existed long enough to get banned again. Like, part of the movie's lore is
I'm
that
so
there
glad
was
they
a
made
brief
that illegal.
period in
That's-
time where they had brain control chips that they got rid of because they're like, this is bad. It's a gory good time. It feels a little long. I'll say that, but it is based around like an in-world book called Lumberjack the Monster, where there is a monster that pretends to be a lumberjack and he just does lumberjack things for his friends in the neighborhood and sometimes kills people and eats them and has a moment where he's like, I mean, what am I really? Am I a lumberjack or am I a monster? Because I do lumberjack more than I do monster, and it really makes you think.
Am I a man
And-
or am I a Muppet?
That's
That
exactly
really
what
does
happens. There's a
say a lot
musical
about our
number in the middle.
society.
He's like, am I a lumberjack or am I a monster? Am I a monster? You know,
Yeah.
I liked it. If you hate Miike, don't bother. But
Maybe
I
get
have
familiar
found
with
myself-
Miike first, or
I don't think that this is one that you need to be familiar with Miike for. This isn't like diving right into Audition and like Itchy the Killer Fully Blind.
I just
where
dove
you're just
right into
like-
Audition though.
So did I. And I really did not like it. And I think I would like it a lot more on a return because I was not ready for the sense of humor and the sense of identity that his films have.
Mm.
And I think that I could actually enjoy it a lot more now that I have a better understanding of Takashi Miike, the person and creator, who has
Yeah.
made the Ace Attorney movie only available in Japan that I cannot get access to without piracy, and I'm very sad about.
Damn.
I want to watch that
So-
so bad.
I haven't watched any of this stuff, so would this be a good entry point since I've never really experienced Hatsune Miike?
Honestly,
Thank
and
you, Nina.
you're gonna be surprised to hear this. There's way less music than you'd anticipate, but it's not
Wow.
terrible. There's no scallions though in this one.
It's a leak.
What the fuck ever.
Like he said, no scallions.
No scallions and no leaks apparently.
I'm
But,
about to start
like,
fights over
jokes as-
Vocaloid onions.
Jokes aside about Vocaloid onions, if you wanted to jump into Takashi Miike, this is not a terrible spot to hit first. I think it is due to its modern style. I think it is a little more accessible than like Audition, which is a steeped in vibes and very intentionally made movie and not fun to watch at times and confusing because it's kind of a little too goofy at other times. You know, it's a Miike. This is a much more user-friendly Miike that feels so squarely out of the 2000s.
Nice.
Had a good time with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Was that all your ghouls? Well, all the ghouls you're going to talk about, because we know you have way more, actually.
I might hop onto The Exorcism when Nina talks about it. Oh, I watched The Expendables again. I should not have. It was better in my memory.
Sad.
There were way more good Statham one-liners and better like choreography in my memory. Rewatching it now,
That's
it's
sad.
exactly what
I'm so sorry.
you probably think it is.
Yeah, that's why I haven't watched it.
Just keep it that way because it's a great memory.
All right. Can I talk
It's
about
Nina's turn.
The Exorcism
Yeah.
now? Okay, so I have two movies to talk about.
Yeah.
One of them was Immaculate. After watching Immaculate, and The First Omen, I have maybe what's a hot take, which is while watching The First Omen, there was a moment where I was like, this is really impactful to someone who, you know, who was socialized as female and can get pregnant. And it's very clear to me that a woman directed this by the emphasis placed on certain fears and on certain realities of being a woman and of being a religious woman. I really related to the main character and the secondary main child character, who were both ostracized for being clearly neurodivergent or mentally ill, and who were treated as, you know, othered for that. And I really, really enjoyed that in The First Omen. And then I was watching Immaculate, and there was a similar moment where I was like, a man certainly directed this. And it continued to feel like that. There was none of the same nuance to the things being discussed. There was none of the nuance to the political issue that is obviously connected to both Immaculate and The First Omen, which would be abortion, Roe v. Wade, all of that. There is an interesting choice made with the ending that would be impactful if the rest of the movie led up to it in any way, which it does not. Yeah.
Still fun enough.
Yeah, fun.
But it's
fine.
The people who were holding it and The First Omen hand in hand as like comparable movies, not really. Not really.
I didn't even hate it. Immaculate was fine. Sydney Sweeney was fine. It just felt much more run-of-the-mill horror. And the imagery was very boring and very, like, everything happened. It felt like it had to happen. And less, like... And the twist was interesting. Very interesting. I think there was a way to tell the story that would have made it make more thematic sense. But they didn't do that. Then, so that's... Immaculate's fine. A lot of the imagery is really pretty. Sydney Sweeney's really pretty. The acting's great. But it's very predictable. Then The Exorcism. We watched The Exorcism, Exorcist... quote-unquote movie. It's terrible.
It's really bad.
It's really, really bad.
Don't watch it. It's bad.
If you
don't watch it, I will even spoil it here, because that is how little worth watching it is. You may see the poster and the trailers and think, oh, another Russell Crowe in an exorcism movie as a priest. He's not a priest. He's an actor playing a priest. Mm-hmm. He's an actor playing a priest who has been given every single trauma you could possibly give a character.
Yeah.
He's an addict. He's an alcoholic. His wife is dead. He was abused as a child by a priest. And that is a major plot point in the movie that they keep returning to, but they don't do anything thematic or interesting with it. It is just there to be edgy.
Yeah.
Which, you know what else is just there to be edgy? A homophobic slur. So don't go watch this movie. It sucked. It was a rug pull from the beginning when they revealed that Russell Crowe was in fact not going to be playing a priest, and this wasn't a typical exorcism movie, which you're like, maybe it's going to be subversive. It wasn't. It just took itself way too seriously and did nothing meaningful. So 0 out of 10.
Well. Now hold on a second. When you say it did nothing meaningful, that makes it sound as though there might still be any kind of appeal to watch it. There is not.
Yeah, no.
You're making it sound
too boring.
Good.
It's boring. It's poorly edited. The storytelling is abysmal. The scares are minimal.
What movie did I just say was 93 minutes? Watcher. Where I said Watcher was 93 minutes and it felt longer, but in a good way?
Yeah.
No. The Exorcism is like 96 minutes and it feels like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 95.
The only good...
Or not an hour and a half. And it feels like 2.5 hours.
Do you want to try that whole sentence?
It's 90 minutes, but it feels like
exactly an hour and a half.
Anyway, the only good thing about this movie was the acting was pretty decent on all fronts.
Russell does a good job. Better than the movie deserves.
Yeah, but the movie itself is not watchable, so don't bother.
Yeah.
This has been your official warning.
Yeah, your casual obsession PSA.
Watch The Pope's
Exorcist
instead.
Just watch The Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, The Pope's Exorcist was fun. And if you saw The Pope's Exorcist and thought this was fun, can't wait for another,
just watch it again. Just watch
it again. Yeah.
Wait for The Pope's Exorcist 2.
Two Pope, two
Electric
Exorcist.
Boogaloo.
Yeah, and Pope's Exorcist 3, Balthazar, and Pope's Exorcist 4.
Samael.
Anyway, That's all I got.
Balthazar a wise man?
Two movies that were not as good as I wanted them to be. Oh, we also watched The Bike Riders, and I'll say, just to add a sprinkling of positiveness to this negative fest, The Bike Riders is really fun and did exactly what it wanted to do, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of ghouls. One of which, so you remember how I've been watching through the Star Trek movies, of course.
What?
So I finally jumped back to the beginning, actually, and I watched Star Trek The Motion Picture because I had sent a demo track of some music that I've been working on to a friend, and he said that it reminded him of the soundtrack of Star Trek The Motion Picture. So, and in saying this, he said, it's a little bit of a rough watch. However, there is still some good stuff in there, and the music is genuinely pretty good. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do what I've been saying I'm going to do, and I'm going to go back and actually watch it again. He was right about the soundtrack, first of all. The thing that I sent him did sound an awful lot like some noises that happen in this movie, actually. In a good way. I think it's a good comparison. Okay, but here's the thing about this movie. There is a character named Decker, and if after hearing me say any of this, you go and watch it anytime that Decker is on screen, and you're going to know the thing that I'm referring to here when I say this once the movie is rolling. Decker wants to fuck that thing so badly, he cannot act like a normal person. Now, this said, go and watch the movie. You will see what I mean. This man is barely holding it together for the entire movie. And the thing that, like, you know, the focus of the episode, right? A thing shows up and presents a moral quandary of some sort. There's a mystery as to what its motivations are. They have to figure out what it is. It's largely a communication game initially, blah, blah, blah. The moment that this thing is, like, introduced, though, Decker wants to fuck it so bad.
Oh.
He never says it in so many words, but he very, very almost does right at the end. And if you watch it thinking this, you will not be able to see anything else in it. Moving forward from that, it's a fun enough watch, I think, if you're interested in a 2-hour-long Star Trek episode, which I certainly am. This said, I also watched Star Trek V, The Final Frontier.
Nice.
You may recall when I talked about the voyage home, the one with the whales, how silly that was, and how I believe that I said something about how it comes across largely as like a fanfic that somebody wrote about Spock, Kirk, and McCoy. This one takes that feeling and it cranks it up to 11. The opening scene basically reveals to us that Spock, Kirk, and McCoy take their vacations together. They work together on this ship out in space, and then they get to come home to Earth, and what do? They go camping together. And they sing songs around the campfire, and I am not even exaggerating this.
I love gay people.
It's fantastic, honestly. This movie is absurd. But you know what? In terms of, like, Spock, Kirk, McCoy throuple fanfics that have gotten filmed, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the movies being just more of that bullshit. I'm having a good time with it. You know? Whoever it is that's going around saying that the later Star Trek movies are not good is just watching them for the wrong reasons, I think.
Would you say they're watching them expecting a high budget Star Trek movie instead of a long Star Trek episode?
See, that's the thing. The budget is noticeably better.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, like,
it is.
The ship looks actually good versus good for the budget.
Right, yeah. Which, I mean, you know, if you're comparing it to, like, the 60s show, that was actually the best effects that 60s TV money could buy, actually, but because it was legitimately like one of the most expensive shows on TV while it was running. But yeah, you look at some of the visuals in like the first movie especially, actually, they really, really went ham on it and it looks good. And because it's all like, you know, constructed miniatures and models and stuff with like actual lighting and that kind of thing, most of it holds up really, really well. Or I thought so, at least. But honestly, it holds up for pretty much all of the movies. Every now and then they try to do something that's like a little goofy or something, but it's still a fun watch.
Series.
It's still nice to look at. It's still good, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to continuing the rest.
I really hope when they make the new Star Trek 4 eventually that they make it really gay.
We can hope. I mean,
Star Wars: A New Hope, or Star Trek: A New Hope.
I do also have a ghoul that I know Emma really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, let me talk about it.
Why don't you go ahead
first.
and get started here?
Well, do you have any other ghouls to gab, or?
That is it for ghouls that I was intending to gab up until this one.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna save this one and talk about my other ones really fast, and then we'll end on a high note. Yeah. Okay, so
Jamie edited a drum roll right here for the next 10 minutes.
So, real quick, just to hit up on my other movies I've seen recently, according to my secret Letterboxd account. That's really hard to find.
Nobody knows it.
Of course.
Nobody knows it except Noah found it. I think somebody else found it. It's really hard, though, so don't even try. So, I saw The First Omen. I watched it finally. I was disappointed not in the movie, but up here in Canada, The First Omen hilariously is streaming on Disney Plus. And
that's so funny.
It's really funny. And my plan was, while we were away, I had an immigration scare and I had to run back to America for like a week and then come back. I didn't flee the country. My visitor's visa was running out and our lawyers weren't filing my application, so I had to come back like suddenly. But so I had to come back, and my plan was, I was like, I'm gonna be taking like a train and then waiting at the airport and then flying out and like doing all this traveling. I'm gonna save The First Omen so I can watch it while I'm traveling as a treat for myself. But then while I was on the train and then when I went to Toronto, my phone was registering that I was in America. And so I couldn't watch The First Omen. And I was like, motherfucker. But then I got back home and I was able to watch it. And what a great movie. I did not know what I was expecting because I'd heard so many great things. And I knew it was a lot of like pregnancy-based horror. But I wasn't sure like what it would explore and what it would do. And there's so many creepy parts of this movie that I really enjoyed. And then some really like, holy shit, they really showed that. Like, if you're in the Discord, I posted my reaction to a certain like birth scene that happened. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hadn't seen that in a movie before, and hoo boy. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was a great time. Highly recommend, but it's graphic. So
it really does not hold back, which is part of why I really liked it, honestly.
Yeah. Then I watched Hitman, which is a Netflix movie.
I heard that was fun.
It is fun. It's a fun time. It's nothing like incredible or anything. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's a fun time. I enjoyed it. And if you're looking for something chill to watch, like one afternoon, it's a good one. And then I also watched We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is a movie that was recommended by our good friend here a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love
it's
it.
not for me.
Sure. Understandable, but
it's very much about like kind of internet culture and getting too far into internet culture and like role playing and like all of these other things. And growing up, I was certainly around the subspaces of internet that this movie is really exploring thoroughly, but I wasn't in them. And so, I don't know, it just didn't hit me as much. And I kind of saw the path that the movie was taking from the beginning, but it's interesting. And I gave it 3 stars.
Okay.
But the last movie, and the reason why I watched We're All Going to the World's Fair is the director of We're All Going to the World's Fair came out with another movie recently that had a theater release and is perhaps my favorite movie of all time now. And it is called I Saw the TV Glow. It's incredible. It's a movie that I really wanted to watch while it was in theaters, but it was playing nowhere in Canada.
that sucks.
It does sucks. But
Yeah, it wasn't playing near us either.
I traveled back to America for a brief week, and while I was there was like the last week that it was in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the days I just decided like, oh, I'm going to go to Alamo Drafthouse, sit down, watch this movie. And after I watched the movie, I could not stop thinking about it the entire day. And then the next day was the last day it was going to be in theaters in the area. So I went back the next day and watched it again. And then it came out digitally the next Friday. And so I bought it then, and I have since watched it 5 more times.
5. Holy shit.
Yeah. It is so good.
It is.
It's incredible. I have not shut up about it in our Discord server.
It is true.
I posted about it so much, and I posted about it so much because like it's very much a movie about trans stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had a movie like hit me and affect me on so deep and personal a level. And that I just extremely felt seen in a cool but also like haunting way by the movie. And I've loved it. It's great. And I've bugged everybody else in our little Discord community to watch it. And somebody has watched it.
Who was that?
Who could it be?
I wonder who it could be.
Obviously, this is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. I don't want to say too much about my opinions of the movie because I'm really hopeful that I can rope everybody into doing a podcast episode about it one day. But yeah, what did you think?
So I was super, super excited from the moment that this movie got announced, simply because I loved We're All Going to the World's Fair so much that I was just kind of like, you know what? Jane Schoenbrunn can do whatever they want forever, and I will go and watch it. And after watching I Saw the TV Glow, tell you what, I am not amending that opinion in the least. Jane Schoenbrunn can do whatever they want forever, and I will watch it every time.
Yeah.
A lot of the talk that I had heard about it, because I wasn't able to catch it in theaters, I had to wait until after it came out on digital to watch it. A lot of the talk that I had heard about it was that it was basically the movie that makes you want to transition immediately. Mm-hmm. And immediately upon watching it, I had said in the Discord chat that we have just for the hosts, I had said, that's not true, actually. What it is, actually, is it's the movie that tells you point blank you should transition, and the feelings are kind of all left on you. This said, literally within a couple of days of watching it, I had an appointment at the local informed consent clinic trying to get HRT, and I'm going to start taking it very soon. My friends are all calling me Jade now. So this is a movie that might have a significant impact on you when you watch it. I don't know what else to say about it beyond that, other than, well, something else that I said in the host Discord chat, actually, which was that Jane Schoenbrunn seems to just very consistently make movies that take emotions I don't know how to express within myself and then stick them in a petri dish and culture them like mold samples, and then just kind of holds them up and goes, hey, check this out. And that's the movie.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
That is pretty great.
Lots of times. And it's just, God damn it, I love it. It's really, really, really good.
It's so good.
I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I don't know how good a podcast we could do about it, actually. Just because
I could talk about this movie a lot.
Oh, I know you could, but also I don't know, it's a lot. I think we need time before that can possibly be done.
Oh yeah, I recognize that. But it's incredible. It's something I recommend if you're trans, specifically if you're like a trans millennial or like a cusper. I think this definitely has the potential to like hit you really hard and make you fall in love with it.
There's a lot of early 2000s nostalgia to it in the aesthetic and all.
Yeah.
It looks so nice. It is such a pretty movie. Oh my God.
But because it's so emotionally heavy, it's definitely a thing I recommend. But if you're like not in a great mental space, or you're not ready to tackle some like big gender questions that you think you might have, hold off on it for a bit.
Perhaps.
It's okay. It'll be there.
It might hurt a little.
Yeah.
It might hurt a lot.
But with that out of the way, I think that's all of our ghouls.
I believe that's all the ghouls.
Indeed.
It only took us
don't say a time because it will be edited. There's no number. We all know how long the episode's been going.
It only took us insert time here.
Yeah,
Jamie, don't insert that
all.
time.
Yeah. Theme music.
Welcome back to Casual Obsession, the horror movie podcast where we talk about horror movies. I am your host, Noah, he, they, and this is your host, Nina.
Hi, I'm Nina, she, they.
This I'm just going to point, actually, because I'm realizing introducing by name kind of cuts out the intro element of it. You know what I mean?
It does.
Yeah, I want to introduce myself.
I mean, I don't know who you're pointing at.
We don't know what your screen looks like, so who
they
are you
both
at?
above you.
Yeah, both of you are above me on my screen. So
we're also above you, like, metaphorically in real life.
Wow.
It's that brain exploding, like, enlightenment meme.
Yeah. Hi, it's me, Emma. I use they, them pronouns.
And hi, it's me, Jade. I also use they, them pronouns.
Thank you. Yay! We got through it. This week, we're still in the shits. I know we've been gone for a month, right?
We were in the shits the whole time.
In theory, we would have been, like, rolling. Now, what was our last episode? It was
was it not?
No, it was Hell House.
Hell House.
And Hell House was
That's
good,
right.
actually. You know what? I take it back. We're not still in the shits.
We're back
in the shits, baby. We're back in the shits.
Back in the shit
This
trenches.
is Haunt from 2019, and I am so stoked to talk about this because let me tell you, this is like, okay, bear with me here. In my mind, there is a type of movie that I will always mention this in a review if I think that this is a Halloween party movie. Hellfest, Halloween party movie.
Absolutely.
Minimal story, minimal shit to pay attention to, looks cool, decent kills. You just kind of go through the movie, you know? There are several movies that we've watched for this podcast that I think I have attached the good Halloween party tag to. Really, I need to make it a letterbox tag so I can find these movies myself later easily.
Yeah.
Haunt. This is the Halloween party movie. And we'll get into details about that in a minute, but let me give you a real quick spoiler-free synopsis. Also, preemptive apology, I wrote down no character names, and I watched this movie 4 days ago. I don't know shit about names.
I watched this
so I'm
movie
gonna
last
say,
night. Are you trying to tell me there were characters in this movie? Because
yeah, there's Marty the ghost and the alcoholic boyfriend Sam, I think.
the ghost's name is Mitch, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. Anyway, there are some friends who are all going to a Halloween party together, and one of them has an alcoholic boyfriend who is going to become alcoholic ex-boyfriend. Let's go.
Feminism.
Feminism. They decide after they're at the party and they're just not really having a great time. They're like, oh my God, what if we went to the sketchiest looking extreme haunt you've ever seen in your life?
No, but it's okay because there's a 1-star or there's a one review for the place that says all the proceeds go to Red Cross.
That's true.
They do say that.
And that also means it's true that the review wasn't lying. It's great. The flyers for this thing look like ransom notes, and they're printed in black ink on red paper.
It goes hard.
Sick as hell. I love it. But, all right, so we got that intro element of the story, and we show up, and there's just a dude in a clown mask silently standing out front, and he hands out consent forms, and everyone basically consents to whatever the fuck happens is fine, and then they surrender their phones and go into the extreme haunted house. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
That is the beginning of this movie, and then the next hour and 20 minutes are all just one big haunted house scene.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Not much else to say.
Not much else to say. You may be thinking, Noah, what about the critics' consensus on this one? Well, don't you worry.
Yeah, Noah.
I got those numbers.
Yeah,
I know you were going to ask.
What is the critics' consensus on this one? They like it?
IMDb clocking in with a 6.3 out of 10.
Oh.
Rotten Tomatoes with a 70%. Metacritic with a 69%.
Oh, nice.
And Letterboxd. Nice, right? And Letterboxd with a 2.9 out of 5. So we're logging some decent numbers on this as far as
averaging middling positive.
The genre of middling positive. As far as the genre of Halloween party movies goes, this is really good, right? And you might be thinking, well, Noah, if it's so good, let's hear the Ebert review.
Oh, is there an
How
Ebert?
about you go fuck yourself? There's no Ebert review for this shit.
He got me with the Ebert trap. Fuck.
But if I could, I have a different review. A full written out website review from your friend and mine, Twitter Brandon. Let's go. It's a full written review. Will be linked in the comments. The Movie Sleuth. All right. I, as always, am going to be chopping this up. Now,
of course.
In this case, I'm literally just lifting his last paragraph and another line because the last paragraph encapsulates this movie really well.
Okay.
And then the other line, I think, intros it very well. So, many of our best horror films succeed because they don't waste time explaining their killers, or in this case, killers' motive. That's a possessive killers and then a multiple possessive killers.
Oh, all right. Pluralized it. Okay.
They drop you in and the victim, or they drop you and the victims into a horrific situation and get to work. Haunt is a mean, gnarly little slasher flick that feels both familiar and new all at once. The wheel is rarely being reinvented in slashers, but when one comes along that's as atmospheric and fun as this one, it more than deserves your time. Beck and Woods are gifted filmmakers who know this genre inside and out. As frequently horrific as Haunt is, one wonders what these two are truly capable of when let loose completely. Until that happens, if you're looking for something new this Halloween, this is one to watch. Also, Brandon actually logged this with a rating on Letterboxd. This is back in the day, 2019, 3 out of 5. So a 60% from Brandon.
Oh, okay.
And a very glowing review for a 60%, I might add. That's, I believe, why the man moved away from star ratings. Because
that makes sense.
Okay.
Using stars as a quality thing when also talking about how something that really did achieve its goal, but it's also, this isn't a 5-star movie.
No.
But it does what it's setting out to do very, very well, you know? And that's why for me, actually, it is also a 6 out of 10. And I rated it this before I followed Brandon on Letterboxd, so I don't want to hear about it. But I like this a lot. I watched this a few years ago. I've watched this again now. Let me go back and... What do you mean Letterboxd is taking a break? What do you mean I can't look at Letterboxd right now? This is terrible. Whatever. I was going to look at my old...
that we're filming a podcast?
Don't they know? I'm busy right now. I'm working
it's like
here.
They don't care about us
I need this for work. I was going to go read my old review. But I think it was just that I said that I liked it a lot and I thought it was a pretty good time. Man, what if I pop in on my phone?
I doubt that's going to work. You gave it a 6.
Get fucked. It worked.
Oh.
That's right.
Anyway...
Half a sec. I just want to see my old review. I watched Haunt in March of 2023, and my review was that I wish it was bloodier. It has a lot of tension, and the only thing I would change just to make it a little bit more gruesome, fun concept, didn't drag at all. At that time, I was 3.5 stars out of 5. Now I'm down to 3 out of 5.
Spoilers.
Yeah, wow.
I already said my review, or my rating.
Oh. Never mind.
I think I said 6 out of 10, but, you know, still.
That was Brandon, I thought.
No, I said I also rated mine, but I had rated mine first, and now I am revealed to be a liar who has bumped his down. Because I liked it a lot. Didn't live up for a attention-devoted second watch, but it's still a good background watch movie.
Mm-hmm.
What about Nina?
Yeah, that's me. I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty much, I don't remember what I rated Hellfest, but it's the same as Hellfest to me.
Yeah.
That's really all I got as far as like initial thoughts for this movie. Yeah, that's about it. It's Hellfest to me. It's Hellfest again. It does some things better than Hellfest did, and it does some things worse, and it ends up being about exactly the same.
Yeah, in this one, the haunted house doesn't have a DJ, which is a decided step down.
But it does have a little guy, and you know how I feel about little guys.
Hellfest was utterly bereft of little guys.
Genuinely.
Yeah, there were no little guys in Hellfest.
Yeah.
What about you, Jade?
Me personally, I think I'm gonna give it. I feel like what did I give? I think I gave Hellfest like a 5 or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm giving this like a 4.5. Not that I think it's worse necessarily. I think having watched both has lowered my opinion of both of them, if that makes sense.
I think that's so fair. It's like
They're both
how
just
I read that one
so-
review for Hellfest and it dropped Nina's score by 2 full stars.
Yeah, they're both just so 2010s forgettable. They're just such bog standard slasher shit the whole way through, and it's like, did you have an original idea
Halloween
in your head
party
the whole
movie.
time? Maybe not, but you know what? This is doing exactly what it's trying to do. I do have 2 pitches for better movies that this could have been.
Okay.
And I can do those now or wait for later.
Well, kick it now. Why not?
I think I'm going to wait for later with it, actually, because it's going to
Because
involve
once we get the
saying some
spoilers out of the way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
involve
yeah,
some
yeah.
spoilers, but we can get right to it after that. The soundtrack on this one is... I feel terrible doing this. I'm going to talk shit on a composer here. The soundtrack on this is done by Tom and Andy. Tom and Andy have done the soundtracks to an awful lot of things that I felt had really forgettable by the numbers kind of soundtracks, including P2, The Covenant, and a number of Resident Evil movies that I haven't watched.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't like any of those soundtracks either.
Also The Strangers. You see where I'm coming from here.
Yeah.
These guys have done a lot of soundtracks that I'm really, really unimpressed by. Unimpressed by at best, and like actually put off by at worst, because like I just feel like they're not doing anything for it.
Mm-hmm. Just feels a little phoned in and a little too generic.
Yeah, and I think what I'm finding is that I just don't like Tom and Andy. Sorry, Tom and Andy, because I know you're listening and I know you care about my opinion. I am simply not into your work.
Sorry, Andy, but fuck you, Tom.
Tom deserves it.
What
Tom
did Tom
deserves
do?
it. He knows what he
Actually,
does.
Emma, it's Tom and Andy. It's one person.
Is it actually? Wait, is it actually
one person
though?
who uses they them pronouns? No,
Fuck!
Noah's being a jerk. Anyway,
Thank you, Jeff, for selling it with me by
thank you, who?
Thank you, Jade, for selling it with me by simply ignoring me.
I'm loving this energy, Nina. Who are you talking about?
What's this? I don't know who that is.
Jamie, can you edit that out?
My plan is just to edit it out, but now we've acknowledged it, so...
let me know if that's okay though, because I can also just let it go.
I don't want to make a big thing out of it. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. I'll just let it be then.
Fuck you. We'll defend you even if you don't want it.
Oh no, allies.
Ally.
So in any case, Emma, what's your opinion on this joint that we just watched here?
I enjoyed it. I think it was a fun time. It's not a movie of much substance.
Certainly not.
No.
There's no heft or chew to it, but I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot more than I liked the other one, Hellfest.
Mm-hmm.
Hellfest felt much like campier and cornier, whereas this one like felt a bit more like grounded and real, and I enjoyed that about it. So I'm gonna give this a 7. I had fun.
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I would say if you're looking for something to watch, this is a fun thing to just kind of put on. This is like very jump scare reliant.
Yeah. And they're not good jump scares
It's been a while since we've had one of those.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's perfectly tolerable movie.
Good at what it's doing.
Yeah.
It's not trying to do much, but it is doing what it's doing.
Yeah. I do want to say I love Mitch. And
Love Mitch.
Get more into that.
Mitch
is my
We
favorite.
love Mitch. This is a Mitch fan podcast. We love Mitch here.
I cannot wait. Okay. 2 things about Mitch. Remind me to say them after we're done with spoilers, because I have 2 things. Noah might mention one of the things during the spoiler review, but the other I will talk about.
It's just how attractive he is.
Naturally, I mean...
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. And it's his birthday.
And it's his birthday.
I am realizing, speaking of getting us on track,
What?
that I did not write down any content warnings, so I still had haunting as an option, which obviously does not apply to this movie because everything is so real.
Yeah.
It's very real.
So I've currently updated with stalking, domestic violence, and light spoiler, huge spoiler, body modification.
Yeah. Just gore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for however much of it there is, yeah.
Yeah, because there is distinctly not as much blood as this movie needs.
Yeah, that's the thing. This movie is not nearly committed enough to being rated R.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's actually its greatest sin, is it's just not going hard enough.
Same as Hellfest. That's what I'm saying.
Hellfest was so PG-13. And this is not
Which is,
quite
once
there,
again,
but
why this is a really good Halloween party movie. It's not probably going to be too far for many events. This is the step up from Hellfest on that front.
Yeah.
This is the one that goes on at 11 p.m. instead of at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
There's only been one Halloween party that I hosted where I was like putting on movies in the background. And it definitely was like, as it got later, I put on the more intense stuff.
Right, yeah. This is the one that you play maybe if it goes on at 11, maybe it's like House of a Thousand Corpses next or something.
Right, something serious and fun for the people that stick around at the end.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you know, now there's a lot of things about this movie that we can talk about, but there's actually only one thing I want to talk about.
Mitch.
It's actually kind of scary how far off you were from what I was wondering.
Is Mitch?
How scary was it, Noah?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. I could never know. How about you, Emma? What's your scariest Mitch?
Oh gosh, my scariest Mitch is
McConnell.
I don't know. But this movie, as I mentioned, it's like very jump scare reliant. Which is fun, but you just gotta know like there are jump scares. And they kind of come out of nowhere sometimes. But it's like 3 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah.
Just because of the jump scares. Because like that's their job, is to like down to a, what's the word? Like they're designed to trick your brain into jumping.
Right, with your startle response and such, yeah.
Yeah, and so like when a jump scare happens, most of the time it's probably gonna get you. Just because of how things are designed.
Did this movie actually make you jump?
A little bit, because I was playing video games while watching it. So
okay.
I was like distracted, and then it was like, bah! I was like,
okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, okay, I remember what. Okay, no worries. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
But now I guess we can move on to
bigger and better things.
A good old spoiler summary.
You should.
If we will. I should what?
Pull up a wiki.
There's nothing to wiki.
There is no wiki?
There is no wiki?
No, there's probably a wiki. I'm saying that there's not enough story in this movie for me to need the wiki.
Oh, that's
to recount
honestly, no. Yeah, there's not.
Now, here's what happens, right? And this is going to be a really terrible spoilery summary because
that's okay.
This is a visual movie. Sorry.
I mean, all movies are visual.
That's fairly true.
My haters would say that I said something stupid, but not me. I would say that I said something smart.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Thank you. Anyway, so here's what happens. Our heroes... I pulled up the Letterboxd page so I can actually say their names once and never say them again. Harper, Nathan, Bailey, Angela, Evan, Mallory.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All 6 of them show up and they go into the haunted house. It is the extreme haunt. And there's 2 options they can go down. They can go down the not scary path, or they can go down the scary path. And we get an even 50-50 split. The not scary path has your classic funhouse mirrors, which one of our focal characters points out is a 2-way mirror. Someone is watching them through it, which not many of them take seriously because they're like, well, yeah, man, they have to know when we're going room to room. It's also full of real spiders. Like the cobwebs are filled with spiders.
Big spiders, too.
Like dangerous looking spiders.
Or expensive at the least.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that was in the scary path, though. There's not a lot going on in the not scary path. You know, you reach your arm through a thing and it's spaghetti and it's like, whoa, look at that. It's a bowl full of intestines. And you reach your arm through the other and there's grapes and it's like, ooh, there's eyeballs. And you reach your arm through the other hole and you get cut up by razor blades.
Normal stuff, not scary.
What? Oh my goodness. And now we're trapped in a room. But before they choose their path of scary, not scary, there is one scene that kind of kicks off the tone of things. Because what really sold them on entering into the extreme haunt is hearing someone screaming their ass off inside. And they're like, oh yeah, let's go. We're going in there. We see the girl who was inside. They unzip a body bag and she is right there. Not real. I think she doesn't look very present. She looks like she could be dead already.
And her hands
we
are
don't
like
really
zip
know.
tied and stuff.
Yeah, she's like zip tied up. And it's the witch character comes out and grabs a brand from the burning oil drum and pokes the body, and you get a second of seeing the witch stab the person with this red hot poker before the entire glass window gets covered in like fog machine smoke and the curtains are drawn, Also,
this girl was very much awake and pleading.
I thought it
wasn't
was
until
later
that's
right. It's
on
the girl
they
who
do
was
this
later.
again.
That's
Spoilers,
right.
it happens again.
It happens a second
Spoilers
time.
in the spoiler summary.
Yeah, spoiler for the spoiler. So after that, they're like, whoa, this place really is hardcore. That looked really good. Your classic murder house, haunted house story beat,
Remember
right?
Hellfest? It's happening again.
Exactly. So the group that splits off into the scary path ends up having to crawl through this like plywood maze, which if you have two people in it at once, there is a trap door that will like pop up under you in a certain spot. And that's where our first friend disappears, who ends up getting stabbed by the witch later. You know, the little details. But as they go through, they realize that this is a lot less fake than they thought it was because they keep getting hurt by things. And it's clearly not up to code and shit, you know? There's this room full of wood pallets that has been soaked in like oil instead of painted because they're like, oh, maybe it's cheaper to paint it with oil. And one of them turns to the other and is like, are you fucking stupid? Paint is way cheaper than oil. What do you mean?
Yeah, but
a classic moment of true friendship.
Guitarists all understand that a plain oil finish instead of, a thick polyurethane or anything allows the wood to breathe and then you get better tone.
Exactly. God.
A nitro finish does the same thing.
So true. But what ends up happening is the group reunites and they get a door open and they decide we are going to have the two dudes advance and figure out how to get out of here. And the rest of them are going to stay back together and wait. And they end up finding this one guy in a ghost suit. And as they see him like walk away, the guy's like, hey, asshole, we said that we want to get out of here. We need help. And you think that the guy's just going to keep walking away, and he turns around and he just goes, wait, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, asshole, we need help. We need to get out of here. Our friend's hurt. And he's like, hurt? Oh no, that's bad. And he walks into the room and he's like,
I love him.
What's going on in here? And they're like, let us out. And he's like, oh, geez, okay there, buddy.
I love how he's just
a
like,
haunted
oh my
house.
God,
Sorry you can't
bleeding?
hang.
I'm so sorry. This isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
God, I love him.
And they're like, can we have your keys to get through? And he's like, yeah, sure, I guess. He hands them to them and they're like, which key for the door? He's like, the yellow key for the yellow door. But Mitch and the boys decide rather than continue to the end, because Mitch is like, you guys know you're like at the end, right? Like you've gone through the entire haunt. You can just finish it. And they're like, no, we're going back. Take us back to the entrance. They go back up the big slide and into the wood pallet maze again. But Mitch goes first because they're like, you go first,
Mitch
man.
goes
Come on.
second.
Mitch goes second. Oh, yeah, Mitch goes second. Evan, who was dressed as the front half of a human centipede, goes in. And this is not to say he was butt-ass naked. He was dressed as a centipede.
Yeah.
A centipede with human arms.
Human arms. The human centipede instead of a human centipede.
Terrible.
Get it?
So stupid.
And he was mad earlier on in the movie because his friend, who was supposed to play the back end of the human centipede, bailed on him and didn't show up.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, wow, you didn't want to have someone, or you didn't want to shove your face in someone's ass for 3 hours for a party costume. That's crazy. Can't imagine why.
Anyway, so Mitch goes second.
Mitch goes second. And after he lets Evan go on up ahead, it was Evan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Evan goes on up ahead. Mitch then gives the signal for the next guy to come through because he told them, oh yeah, you can't go in too early. Otherwise the automatic trap door will trigger, which is a hydraulic system. So like you can turn that off regardless. He then takes a huge sheet of like plywood and covers the exit to the maze, trapping our boy in there. And then he goes and catches up with Evan.
Now, just to be clear, he doesn't just put it in front of the doorway or something. He nails
it shut.
Yeah, he nails it shut. Evan gets back to the entrance and he's like, dude, what the fuck? Where's our box of phones? And he's just like, come on, man. They're in the office. You think I'm a clown here? Come on. We take care of your stuff. By the way, you still want to know what I look like under the mask?
This is one of the things that I love about Mitch is that he won't shut the fuck up a little
and
bit.
So
and
dramatic.
Evan's just like, I literally don't give a fuck anymore. Give me back my phone and let me leave. And where are my friends? By the way, why are they still not here? And then Mitch attacks him with a claw hammer and takes off his mask. The big plot twist, y'all. All these guys are freaks. They all are into heavy, heavy body modification and are evil.
Yeah.
Because this scene is happening in tandem with a different scene where Harper is talking to this guy in a Satan costume, very Anton LaVey looking mask and whatnot.
Yeah. Who she thinks is her shitty ex.
And
I thought
around
that
the same time that she calls him Sam, and he takes off his mask to reveal his modified face, and he says, "Who's Sam?" We are also getting
no,
this
he
scene.
actually goes, "Who's Sam?"
Yeah, he's got this
because
voice,
he also modified his voice.
Yeah, what?
But you know,
he
has a cool face, big, thick jaw implants with metal studs, you know, metal spikes all over, big like
his tattoos
big face.
are really cool too.
Then you see Mitch. And Mitch
is a little
peels off his mask.
I love Mitch.
He's got no nose. Mitch has no lips. Mitch has no ears.
Mitch has no hair.
Nothing. He has some hair.
He's Jeff the Killer maxing, isn't he?
He's just Jeff
This
the
is
Killer.
the creepiest looking.
Honestly.
Yeah. He says he's not
I
done
love
yet.
Mitch, but he's scary.
Yeah, he's just
He's
like,
scary.
my face isn't done yet.
I love him.
It's a work in progress.
And then he claw hammers Evan to death.
Yeah. He rips
and this
his
is
face
the,
off.
the
Pulls his face back.
yeah, this is the
great.
good gore moment of the movie.
Oh.
Shut up.
Anyway.
So everyone's running away. Everyone's getting picked off. We find out that the guy in the clown mask actually has like scarification clown face on his face. It looks like someone took a big brand that's just a big
like a clown brand.
clown smile and just put it on his face.
You know this guy was just a juggalo originally.
Yeah. And then there was a Faygo accident and he became a weird tattoo artist that kills people on Halloween.
Yeah.
Because that's what we find out. There's a guy who's helping them out. And he's like, yeah, I think they're all like tattoo artists or something. I don't really know. But they said that I would have to kill someone to earn my new face.
And then the guy gets super shot.
And then, yeah, he gets shot by another guy with a funny looking face. You know, that's the rest of the movie is just watching guys with face modifications kill off our heroes until our final girl gets away after
and our final boy.
And our final boy. That's right. Both of them get away. I did forget about that.
Yep.
Yeah, he eventually uses Chekhov's baseball bat, which he arrives with at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and he beats down the guy who has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Knife
After
to a gunfight?
shot.
No, thank you.
He gets shot
Chekhov's
well,
baseball
no, and
bat?
the other thing is they are about to escape,
Yeah.
and he turns around and walks towards the guy instead and gets shot.
In like the kidney? I'm pretty sure he would die and kind of quickly from where he gets hit.
Yeah.
Adrenaline,
and the
I'll
abuse
make
important
for, but like
important abusive boyfriend does show up
Yeah.
and immediately gets murdered.
Yep.
Yeah, they send like their location to him from the girl's phone, and he's like, "That's right, finally, about time."
And then the clown
and then he
smashes
shows
him
up
with a hammer.
Yeah, the clown kills him immediately. No saving moment from Sam.
Pretty great.
Outside of the fact that he left his truck in a spot that they didn't know where it was,
So they could use the truck
to get out. His the one good thing.
So,
but there's one plot point, the only plot point that I have neglected to mention.
Yeah.
And it's that our lead with a shitty ex also had a shitty home life. She grew up in a haunted house.
Oh, she says this like 3 times. I got so sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, her dad abused her mom and I thought killed her mom.
I also thought
But then at the end of the movie it's revealed that her mom is still in fact alive. Which is, you know,
it was another nightmare that left her alive.
Nightmare.
Oh, and,
but,
and after
you know,
the nightmare scenes, we get a scene where like the final surviving scare actor guy like goes to Harper's house, has tracked her down because they had to give their addresses to get in, and she home alones him.
She home alones him with a giant glue trap. It's also it's her mom's house in the flashback, and all the flashback scenes. This is her mom's house. This isn't her house. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like a shotgun on the wall that's been there long enough to leave the dust outline, the classics.
Of course.
So that you can look up and see the shotgun's missing.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. But she glue traps the clown and then she blows his head off.
And then the credits roll.
After using a Bluetooth speaker to play Pop Goes the Weasel, just like in one of the traps.
And then she says, "Not so funny now."
I gotta say.
She doesn't say that.
She should.
She might as well.
She says something.
She says, "Let's see what's behind your mask,"
which is worse.
Yeah.
I think that yours is better, Emma.
Pop goes this weasel.
Stop clowning around.
Okay.
Peekaboo.
So
Haunt 2019 is a certified banger.
The entire rest of the podcast is just us doing better ending lines for an hour.
But that's Haunt.
That's Haunt.
That is Haunt.
That's Haunt.
So the things about Mitch, two things. Obviously, he can't shut up. I do love that about him.
Love him.
Secondly, while we were watching the movie initially, when it came to the scene where Mallory gets stabbed by the witch character, and they were all shouting about it, I said to Noah, man, in one of these movies, I'd really like it if they were shouting at the haunt actors that everything was real, and the haunt actors actually like took it seriously and stopped and were like, "I'll help."
Like,
and
holy shit, what?
and I said this minutes before Mitch was introduced, and when Mitch got introduced, I was so happy because it literally was something I wanted so badly that I was considering, like, if I were to do a story like this, how would I do it? And then we met Mitch, and I was like, if he's a killer, that's actually even better at this point, and he was.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, this is Nina's next book announcement. They're writing about
that would actually,
a haunted house experience.
If I were to do something like Clown in a Cornfield, that is probably what I would go with. So my thoughts on the killers in this movie, because the killers are people who have bodily modified themselves. And it's really interesting because the two major inspirations I can immediately point to from seeing them are the Cenobites, obvi.
Oh, yeah.
And then interestingly, the guy who plays Mitch, I believe, has also been in one of the Wrong Turn movies.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this feels like they wanted to do cool prosthetics for a movie set in the middle of the woods, but they want to be way more sensitive than the Wrong Turn movies. And they landed on willfully consented to body modification over something that stigmatizes people who have no control over their looks.
He was so the guy who plays Mitch he was in the 2021 Wrong Turn. And he's also been in a lot of other like similar feeling movies.
He's just a slasher.
It looks like okay. So generally speaking, it looks like Haunt is one of his earlier like credits.
How about that?
And all his shit since then has been like Mutilator 2.
He was in so Noah and I didn't talk about this, but one thing that we watched was called The Last Shift, and it is an indie horror film, and they remade that horror film with a higher budget in 2023 and called him Malum, and this guy is Malum and Mitch is also Malum, so he's John Malum. Anyway, the point being, I think that as far as like the Cenobite read of things, as far as these killers go, you don't need a lot of motivation. For these guys, because it feels like the layman's understanding of Cenobites. Of like, oh, they like pain and
they're
looking
just slasher
weird
antagonists, right?
Exactly. It feels like this is one of those scripts where you could have slapped a Pinhead in it, you know? So very fun. I enjoyed the prosthetics they did use. All of the character designs were great. I think that like this could have very well been one of those movies where they dropped their own ball and they didn't have all of the mods match the masks that they wore, and they just did cool. But I really, really appreciated that extra like 30 seconds of effort of making sure that everyone's mods matched the mask so that they were consistently a character. That's like something that would have been so easy to screw up.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my 2 pitches for better movies that this could have been.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
would love that,
absolutely.
please.
Pitch number one. I think this movie might be a little bit more enjoyable if it was a little bit worse. I think it would have some charm if it had the cinematography of some 80s bullshit, perhaps. So pitch number one is we give this script to Rob Zombie, and he spends half of the movie's runtime making these killers into more fleshed out characters, because I would love to get more of them in this movie. It's cool that we get as little as we do. For as little as we get,
I don't want to hear the clown go,
is...
listen up, you motherfucking cocksucker. You're going to be in this fucking goddamn fuck
but
haunt.
what if he was... but what if he was Sid Haig? You know?
And then Mitch goes, oh, man.
Oh, man. Well,
I feel like...
fucking hate you.
But here's the problem with that, Jade. This is
I'm
my
not
big
fully
issue.
saying this should be a Rob Zombie movie.
Right.
I think something a little
My
bit more
thing is, I feel like we just end up with House of a Thousand Corpses if we go down
This
that
would
route.
very much just end up being House of a Thousand Corpses. Okay, so follow me here to pitch number two, the better of the two pitches, which is that we inject a little cabin in the woods as well. We are getting behind the scenes shots of the scare actors who are like, watching camera feeds, doing their jobs and stuff like that. And they are waiting for the protagonist characters to trip the we're going to start killing them switch that's hidden in the haunted house at several points. And which one you hit alters the way that the scare actors come and kill you. Because that's their play, right?
That's
they bring
fun.
people in and then they wait for people to break the haunted house rules or something of this nature, like in that scene in Cabin in the Woods. They wait for these people to pick their death. However, until the people have picked their death, the audience is not clued into the fact that the scare actors are evil and going to kill them. It's just, oh man, they didn't trigger that scare that I really like. Bummer. I'm starting to think nobody's going to hit that. Nobody's done that all night. And then eventually, further along in the movie, they do actually trip one and they're like, oh, finally. And they start killing. And you're like, oh, shit, these guys that I've been watching in this goofy workplace comedy have been waiting for a chance to kill everyone this whole movie.
I feel like that's a better version of Hellfest, too, in the spirit of these guys don't take Halloween seriously and I'm butthurt about it.
Yeah.
Both movies did have that undercurrent, especially in this movie. Evan shoves one of the scare actors, and I thought that was going to come back around exactly like you're describing it a little more, where it was like everyone was going to break a rule, or at least the one guy was going to break a rule, and that was going to be when things turned around, but no. Which, expecting too much of this movie, but it would be cool.
Be pretty poggies.
It would.
Don't say these things.
It would pog, though.
Puggy.
Ew.
So anyways, that's the end of the episode.
That's it. That's all we have to talk about.
Pretty poggy episode.
Pretty poggy episode. What was everybody's favorite kill? That's one we always like to do.
I think maybe just the face pulled back part was really stuck with me.
We have to disqualify the Mitch kill because
we all know
otherwise
it's the best
going to be
one.
all of our favorites. So what's besides the Mitch kill?
I like the one where Mallory dies and she doesn't even wake up and they're all kind of freaked out by the fact that she just got fucking stabbed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The way that they had Harper kill Bailey not knowing who she was.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good. Especially the intro to that character being like, all right, showtime, you're up.
You see the mask and you're like, oh, geez, this must be like the big bad or something. He walks in.
Yeah.
He immediately gets thrown down onto the ground and stabbed with a pitchfork. And you're like, well, that was anticlimactic. But then the mask comes off.
Yeah, that was good.
It's solid, I think.
Was she... So as mentioned, I was playing a video game at the same time, but I was watching the scene and I didn't think I missed this, but maybe I did. Was she wearing was her mouth duct taped or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, her mouth was taped shut.
I missed that and I was like, it was really stupid of her not to announce herself. If she wasn't duct taped.
Yeah.
But no, that makes sense. Noah, what was your favorite one?
That one's really up there for me. I am also, though, a fan of, I think it was the devil who gets shot with a shotgun because he's so busy getting ready to pitchfork her that he just stops paying attention to the shotgun that has fired 2 times already.
I've got some questions about that shotgun firing device. Why does it just keep going like that? Surely it only needs to fire once.
Surely it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't
Did it kill its target?
with the way it was shown to be set up for us, the audience, I'm like, that would only shoot once. It would not keep shooting. But who knows?
Right, it's not like a pistol where it will like recock itself with its own like stuff. You
It's
actually
a pump
have to
action.
rack
They
a new
have
shell
to-
with a shotgun.
Yeah,
That's
and they
what I
show
was
the
trying to
device
get at, but I
wrapping it,
couldn't
but,
I couldn't figure out why it felt wrong to me, so the only thing that I could say at the time was that I thought shotguns didn't have that many bullets, but I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It does just feel like it shouldn't work that way. Also, the characters don't treat it the way that they should. I think there's a point where like you could stand to either side, like she's walking it towards it all tense, like it could go off at any moment, and I'm like, girly, push yourself up against the wall.
Or stay down on the ground like you were before you started walking toward it. Like,
you
just
do not need to
crawl.
walk towards it like that. I was so
It's-
frustrated by
It's
that.
a ridiculous scene entirely.
But the devil wasn't like trying to stab her or something. He was strangling her.
That's
and then
right.
She like gouged at his injured eye, and he kind of like went up, and then she like shoved him up a bit more, and then he got shot.
That was fine.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fine.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It relies on the
Mostly
shotgun
because-
device, which I have a pre-established issue with. However, it's
That's
good.
cool,
I have
but it
beef
also
with
it also relies on the devil, who is my favorite of the masked guys outside.
You know
of
what? Of course he
Mitch.
is. I
Outside
knew
of
you would like him
Mitch.
best.
Well, he is the
Why
coolest
wouldn't I?
one.
He looks cool, and he also sounds like a guy who got a voice modulator built into his face.
So here's the
love
thing.
That's
how
what the jaw
bored-
is.
I love how bored the clown guy seems with the whole thing most times.
Oh yeah, he's just like, oh my god, clocking into the fucking murder factory again.
I have another problem with these killers, which is that Mitch and the clown and the devil all look like body mods that I can see someone getting on purpose.
But then there's the other guy.
And then there's I think the witch character,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm just like, that does not look like body mods that I have seen anyone who gets body mods get. That looks like you wanted someone to look like a witch under a witch mask.
Right. Like, honestly, to me, the only one that looked real was the devil's, because I have seen people's stuff that looks
I
like
have
that.
too, yeah. Mhm.
But then, like, the clown guy who just got a big stupid smile burned onto his face.
He looks like a fanboy for the Joker movie. Yeah.
Average Joker fan be like,
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to do a Hellfest callback real quick.
Sure.
Remember when I said the most annoying people are going to be like, this is why I don't go to big haunted attractions.
Oh, yeah.
And then I found one. I found my straw man.
Yep.
Let me read you my second straw man.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
This guy says, I am made of straw. What in the world?
Andy Levy on Letterboxd. A good reviewer. Legitimately, like, a guy who I follow because I care about his opinions on things. I definitely recommend this under the radar flick, even though the plot about a group of teens who go to an extreme haunted house only to find out the terror is real is the specific real life reason I won't go to extreme haunted houses. Asterisk.
Oh, he's
This is not a
specifying.
joke.
He's specifying extreme haunted houses. Okay, I will give allowance
here's
for
the-
that.
He is at least
Because-
yes,
No,
he
okay,
is at
but-
least specifying. But
But here's the thing, because some of these extreme haunted houses that are pretty well documented,
McCamey Manor, for example.
Of course.
and it's one of those things where it's like you're not warning away anyone who is at risk of going.
Mm-mm.
The people who are gonna go to those things are
They're gonna go anyway.
gonna go anyway.
Ooh, new movie pitch. Guy goes to legally not McCamey Manor, and it is not extreme enough for him, so he decides to turn the tables and starts killing scare actors.
Stop! That sounds amazing.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've always assumed that that's the plot of the houses October built, even though I know
Unfortunately,
It
it
is
is not. The
That's so
soundtrack
funny.
is done by the what's his face from Motionless in White, who did the Doom 2016 soundtrack, and that's what the movie is.
Is Motionless in White? No, that's not it.
That's who that guy is, isn't it?
I mean, no.
He's the
I'm
Motionless in
sure
White
you're
guy, isn't
right.
he?
Can I have my phone?
Sure.
Thanks. I need to look something up.
Jeff, you neglected to mention that Tom and Andy did the soundtrack for The Covenant 2006, which is one of
Oh, I can't believe I
the worst
forgot to
fun
mention
movies.
The Covenant. My bad.
You did. Oh no, it is. It's the guy who, Rhea Ripley, the guy from Motionless in White, sang Rhea Ripley in to one of the wrestling events. Sorry, I was thinking about Rhea Ripley again.
Dang it, I got caught thinking about Rhea Ripley again.
Yeah, you said Motionless in White, and I just, like, flashed
Why am I thinking
to
about
Rhea Ripley, and I was like...
I don't think this guy was ever in Motionless in White. I don't know where that idea got into my head from, because I'm looking things up now.
Oh, so wait, you're wrong.
I am, entirely.
Oh, okay.
His name is Mick Gordon. Apparently Mick Gordon did a song with Motionless in White, and I don't know why, but for some reason that made my brain think that meant he was in the band. I don't know.
Okay, well, we have gone entirely off the mark. What were we even talking about?
I have no idea.
God, why did I think that?
We were talking about favorite kills, but you all answered.
What was your favorite kill, Emma?
Yeah.
You all took the good ones.
There aren't that many good ones in this movie.
There's not that many kills. I mean...
So I liked the introductory kill of killing the girl with the branding iron and her begging for help.
That is pretty good.
I was actually disappointed when it came back around and it was being done to their friend. And rather than branding her with the branding iron, the witch just like stabs her through the head really fast.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
And I'm like, it would have been so much better if you have them like reliving the exact same scene they saw before, but now it's their friend who's conscious and begging for help, but instead they have her unconscious and she just gets stabbed. I'm like, that's boring.
Yeah, like they ruined a perfectly good thing.
Yeah, but no, I liked the first version of that. I thought that was a fun kill. Sets the mood.
It really does.
What else can we talk about?
There's not that much to
That's
say
the
about
problem,
this
right?
movie.
There's not
just not that
a
much
lot.
The introductions of some of the characters are pretty all right, you know, for the flavor of forgettable slasher protagonist friend group that they are, right? Where it seems like most of them only sort of loosely know each other. Baseball Boy is apparently kind of a newcomer to the group, but he seems to fit in pretty well after he does that really, really douchey way of trying to pick up Harper.
Yeah.
Evan's introduction is really, really funny. The way he's just pitching an absolute fit about the fact that his human centipede pal bailed on him.
Oh, yeah.
That's very funny. It's a perfect introduction for the flavor of character that he is. The way that the one... God, what was her name? The nurse character who gets stabbed in the head with the pitchfork by Satan.
Starts with an
It's
M.
Mallory. No, Mallory's a different one.
No, Mallory's the one that got stabbed by the...
What was her...
By the way.
God, I gotta pull up this IMDb page again.
What did I come here for?
Angela.
That doesn't start with an M at all.
Funny the way that they're they never say outright she's in, you know, a medical program of some sort or anything like that, but she makes reference to not wanting to go to the haunted house at the hospital because of the state of her grades, which is an odd comment, I think. If you're in school, you're not already working at the hospital, are you?
Sometimes
you can be.
It's part of your rotation.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, you have basically some of your classes sometimes are you have to work at the local
I actually met someone
for a certain number of hours.
Okay.
I met someone at work today who made several comments about how they were from the South and this wasn't even that hot, and so they were gonna get hot drinks. And I'm like, okay, whatever. What brings you to this place then? And then they're like, well, we're med students, so the hospital. I'm like, great, cool. That's not even an interesting reason to be here.
No.
I was expecting you to tell me a tale, regale me, and then you're like, no, I'm here for school. Okay.
It happens.
You should have told them, oh my god, that's so interesting.
I did do that. Because I do customer service pretty okay.
Whoa.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, anyways, the way that they're always just like reminding you of the fact that Angela is in some sort of medical program is kind of funny. Because, like, you know, she's just like always rattling things off and making reference to something that one or another of her cousins did. And at one point, Evan asks, how many cousins do you have? Because she's relayed like 3 different cousin-related anecdotes. And she says, 46. This is the kind of shit that I'm talking about when I say if this movie was like a little bit worse, it would have so much bullshit charm to it. Because that line is hilarious, but it just like doesn't hit in the moment.
Yeah, I get that.
It literally, it does feel like a couple things could have been funnier. Also, I told Noah this while we were watching it, and I said it at the time and I still kind of feel this way. This isn't something that I hate because it's bad. This is something that I'm starting to hate because I've seen it too much. I do not like it when the main character, final girl in a horror movie, is implied to be the one who survives above everyone else because she has some mountainous, like, trauma in her past. This movie does it. Split did it really egregiously. And I can think of a few more where it's just like, this is the final girl because she's got some ruinous trauma that makes her more worthy of surviving than the others who haven't experienced life suffering yet, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of getting tired of it. It doesn't really work for me anymore.
Because this one's definitely doing that on both characters, right? Baseball Boy does the same thing because they're having that conversation early on where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm only on the bench with the team this season because I got hit in the face with the baseball." And then he immediately is like, "What about you? Has anything scary ever happened to you? Because it's Halloween. You got to talk about scary experiences that you've had, right?" And she's like clearly having flashbacks to her abusive dad and her abusive ex-boyfriend, and is just like, "No."
Oh, also, I
what
did
is that
like one thing I
scene?
did like in relationship to the abusive boyfriend. I liked how while she called her friend out for typing out the message, the friend did not send the message and did leave it up to her to do it, and I liked that it was her decision to send it.
Yeah, that's nice.
This is not necessarily something that the characters did right, but it is definitely something that the story did right, so I appreciated that. Yeah, the movie's fine. Mitch is in it. That's a big plus.
He sure is.
Mitch.
The character designs are fun, but they aren't that strong.
Not dwelt on long enough.
Except for Mitch.
Except for Mitch.
Mitch, our boy.
Mitch is the only one who has any fan art, unsurprisingly.
That is not
It's almost like he's the only one with personality.
He is, yeah.
Everyone else is just a classic
love
Halloween
him so
costume.
much because what we didn't mention is when he dies, he tries the same fucking line
He's
again.
doing it again. He's like the Joker.
I love him so much.
He gets on top of someone and he's like, "You want to know how I got these scars?" And then he gets hit with a hammer.
I love him so much.
Just like the Joker.
Just like the Joker.
That's haunt.
That's haunt.
I kind of wish Mitch didn't put his mask back on.
Right? Everyone else ditched their mask.
And I wish everybody else kind of ditched their masks. Because once you see the faces, you're like, oh, that's like really cool. And then you go to the next scene and it's a person in a plastic witch mask. And you're like, I wanna...
The masks are so like...
Can we get rid of the like cheap masks
now? They're so
now?
comically cheap too. Like the witch mask has a hat on the front of it. It's terrible. They're awful. And they make reference to it at some point in the movie. Someone like finds a receipt and is like, oh, they just bought all this at Party City 2 days ago. But like, why do they have to keep wearing the cheap ass terrible masks?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we want to read Noah's notes? Do we have
Let's
notes?
read Noah's notes. I have Noah's notes.
Do we have Noah's notes?
Noah's notes start out pretty bad.
Uh-oh. Bad notes.
Yeah. Bad notes. Noah says, front half of the human centipede ass bitch.
Roasted.
Wow. Noah says, I'm having a hard time. I'm sorry. Noah says, I really do love this disaster friend group, though. They're such a mess, and the scene outside the haunt is so real feeling. Yeah, I think this movie does a better job of that than Hellfest did, as far as, like, whether or not people would go into this haunt and, like, what would go on once that starts. Noah says, honestly, this haunt is pretty solid, too. For all the cheap-ass moments in it, there's some really good stuff, too. Obviously because it's real, but whatever. What do you mean by that?
It's because it's actually happening and not like a staged thing. They are actually killing people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
It's real.
Got it. Real within the context of the movie. Yeah. Noah says, brother, you went to an extreme haunt and your mad chainsaw got up in your space. Idiot. Noah has no love for Evan. That's so valid.
Well,
He's just like,
it's his whole shtick the whole movie, right? He's just he's
true.
just a dumbass piece of shit. Like,
I hated that he was like, get out of my safe space.
Yeah, that was stupid as fuck. But that also does feel
with,
in character for Evan to just be an asshole in that specific way.
And it sits with other jokes that he makes as well, where it's just kind of like, this is an insensitive man. That's all that is.
He watches early era Louder with Crowder when he was just a fucking idiot and not like the comedically evil idiot that he is now. And he was just like a stupid fucking idiot moron.
I was going to say he's the world's biggest South Park fan.
That
too definitely feels like the world's biggest South Park fan.
Well, maybe not the world's biggest, but he's up there.
Yeah. Noah says, Mitch is the man. Yeah.
He surely is.
No, before he says Mitch is the man, Noah says, I love this fucking dirty sheet ghost boy with the dirty white skater shoes. I also love that Mitch says, you can call me Mitch, and then the subtitles put Mitch in quotation marks. Do you think he came up with that on the spot? I have a really soft spot for killers who come up with fake names, and they're just the dumbest fucking fake names ever.
He does allude to it not being his real name, so...
You can call me John Ruh.
That was really good.
How dare you?
Good callback, Emma. Noah says, I love this stupid ass twist. Oh, everyone at the Extreme Haunt are actually extreme body mod freaks. It's so deeply unserious. Yeah. Noah says, not to be rude to the abusive boyfriend, but how the fuck is it taking him so long to get his ass out there?
Why are we not being rude to the abusive boyfriend?
Good point.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, I thought you were a freak and a weirdo.
Yeah.
What the hell aren't you doing here?
You do belong here,
Noah...
where they're gonna kill you.
Noah says, finally, shit boyfriend is here and it's just to die immediately.
He gets scatmanned. Yeah.
Noah says, I love Mitch being so, I'll get these tweets back for asking about my name and what I look like. Brother, you're a freak show haunt actor. Calm down. I love it so much. Noah says, good on you, Drac. Do what needs done immediately after. Rip Drac, was cool to have you here for a minute. And then he finishes his notes with glue trap Marty over here. That is the last thing he says. Terrible notes, Noah. Thank you.
The notes were great this time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Glue trap Marty over here.
You have 3 slam-packed pages of notes.
Noah, you're familiar with our acquaintance Gabe. I was talking to them recently, and I told them about Turkey.
I had my first actual conversation with Gabe today, and they already know about Turkey.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
You do not get to be cool to this person ever. I'm sorry. They already know.
Oh.
Anyway, that was Noah's
cool
notes.
Noah.
We hardly knew ya. So next time on Casual Obsession, the horror movie podcast where we talk about horror movies, we'll be talking about a horror movie.
Whoa. Holy shit, did we do that here?
Yeah, crazy.
John,
We're taking
look that up.
Doing a bit of a genre, doing a bit of a departure here. We will be talking about The Devil's Candy. It's a movie that Noah and I watched pretty early after I moved out here that I fell in love with immediately for reasons that will become obvious to anyone who watches it. Until then, I have been Nina. You can find me at Nina Wolverina on Twitter and on Instagram. I write books. I've written 4 things that you can read. They are all available to the link in my bio in any of my socials. Yeah, that's it for me. Who else is here?
I'm Noah. You can find me as Bubba the Bad, BUBBADABAD on the usual spots. I streamed twice this week. That's a huge week for me.
Oh.
A huge month for me, if we're being completely honest. That's more than I've streamed in a long time.
And I am Jade. You can find me on Tumblr at What Is It You Pray For, and also on Letterboxd at The Fakest Fan. When I use it.
And I'm John Ruh. You can find me at Emma Panada. Basically everywhere I am. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We're glad to be back after taking a little bit of a break. and we're excited for the next one, and we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Goodbye.